I know many of you have been feeling frustrated lately. I get it. The crypto space has been brutal, and it feels like everyone's given up on Pi Network. I've been getting messages from community members asking if they should just delete the app and move on. But before you make that decision, I need to share something with you. Before we dive in, make sure you join my Telegram and Facebook page. Links are in the description below. That's where I share breaking Pi Network updates the moment they happen, and our community discussions there have been incredibly valuable for staying ahead of developments like what I'm about to share. Over the past 100 days since Pi Network opened its blockchain, I've been quietly tracking every development, every update, every piece of data through my research and community connections, and what I discovered completely changed my perspective on where this project is heading. I'm talking about real numbers, real progress, and real opportunities that most people are completely missing. If you've been wondering whether Pi Network is actually building something meaningful or just another project that's slowly dying, you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened during Pi Network's first 100 days of open network. And I promise you, the reality is very different from what people are saying online. Let me start with the numbers that honestly shocked me when I first saw them. Remember, this is just 100 days of open network activity. We're looking at over 3 million new people joining Pi's mainnet during this period. That pushed the total number of mainnet users past 13 million. Think about that for a second. While the rest of crypto was dealing with market crashes and project failures, Pi Network was quietly growing its user base by millions. But here's what really caught my attention. The network has processed over 7.4 billion Pi migrations to mainnet. That's not a typo billion with a B. Of that massive amount, 5.2 billion Pi has been locked by users, and 2.2 billion is unlocked and ready for transactions. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These represent real people making real decisions about their financial future with Pi. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is something I bet most of you haven't heard about. The Pi Foundation just announced Pi Network Ventures, a $100 million fund held in both Pi and US dollars. When I first heard about this, I thought it might be another announcement without substance. But after digging deeper, I realized this is the real deal. This fund isn't just sitting there looking pretty, they're actively investing in startups and projects that build on the Pi blockchain. Their first major focus area is gaming, which honestly makes perfect sense. Gaming is naturally social, it involves digital payments, and it's a massive industry worth over $180 billion globally. They've already launched a test project called Fruity Pi to experiment with in-game payments, advertising revenue, and wallet integration. But gaming is just the beginning. This fund is specifically looking for projects that can demonstrate real-world utility for Pi. If you're a developer or entrepreneur thinking about building on Pi, this could be your opportunity to get serious funding behind your idea. Now let me tell you about Pifest, because this event proved something really important about Pi's potential. In mid-March, Pi held its first major commerce event since opening the network. This wasn't just a marketing stunt, it was a real test of whether Pi could actually function as a currency for everyday transactions. The results were incredible. Over 125,000 sellers registered for the event, and around 58,000 actively participated in real buying and selling. The Map of Pi app, which is community-built, saw over 1.8 million users during that week. People submitted more than 45,000 reviews of their transactions and experiences. What really impressed me is that this wasn't happening in some controlled environment. These were real people in real locations buying and selling actual goods and services with Pi. We're talking about everything from local produce to handmade crafts to digital services. For many participants, this was their first experience using any cryptocurrency for real commerce, and Pi made it simple enough that it just worked. Another development that caught my attention was the launch of Pi's domain name system during Pifest. The .pi domains auction allowed users to bid on personalized domain names within the Pi ecosystem. By the end of the 100-day period, there were over 123,000 bids from more than 57,000 unique users. In total, over 3 million Pi was used in domain bidding. These domains aren't just vanity purchases. They're designed to serve as digital identity across all apps and services within the Pi network. If you think about how valuable premium domain names became in the traditional internet, early adopters of .pi domains could be positioning themselves for similar opportunities. On the technical side, Pi Network has been making significant improvements to support this growing ecosystem. Developers who meet certain criteria can now list their apps directly through the developer portal without waiting for manual approval. This removes a major bottleneck that was slowing down app development. The Pi Ad network is now available to more developers, which creates multiple revenue streams for people building on the platform. Developers can earn money from ads, receive direct Pi payments from users, and participate in revenue-sharing programs. Several new apps launched during this 100-day period, and the pace of development is accelerating. Pi has also been working on security and user experience improvements. The team has rolled out new account recovery features and significantly improved the KYC process to enhance both security and user accessibility. Verified users now have the ability to update their phone numbers through a liveness check, adding an extra layer of identity confirmation. Wallet migrations are now safeguarded with two-factor authentication, reducing the risk of unauthorized access. Additionally, the platform has transitioned from SMS-based to email-based verification, which not only improves reliability, but also helps ensure that users across different regions can complete verification more smoothly and consistently. They've also added support for Yoti verification, which makes it easier for users in different regions to complete their KYC requirements. These might seem like small technical details, but they're actually preparing the infrastructure for much larger scale adoption. Here's what I think all of this means for the Pi community. While everyone else was focused on price speculation and market movements, Pi Network has been quietly building the foundation for a real digital economy. We're seeing the early stages of what could become a comprehensive financial ecosystem. The 100-day results show steady progress toward making Pi actually useful in the real world. With the startup fund now active, developer tools in place, and successful commerce events happening, Pi is positioning itself to be judged on real utility rather than just speculation. I know many of you have been losing hope, but I want you to consider this data carefully. The numbers suggest that Pi Network is gaining momentum, not losing it. While other projects struggle with adoption, Pi is demonstrating real-world usage and building the infrastructure to support continued growth. If this information was helpful and gave you a different perspective on Pi Network's progress, please hit that like button to help other Pi pioneers find this content. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Are you feeling more optimistic about Pi's future after seeing these developments? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm continuing to track Pi Network's progress closely, and I'll be sharing updates as they happen. Most importantly, follow my Telegram and Facebook pages linked in the description for the latest Pi Network news and community discussions. The Pi journey is far from over, and these 100 days suggest we might be entering a new phase of real-world adoption and utility. Stay strong, Pi pioneers.